Welcome to the PinkpillRx podcast, hosted by Katie and Jay Fillmore, where we navigate complex and thought-provoking topics surrounding women with a focus on education. For shorter form content, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at Caters88 or PinkpillRx.
That's KATORS88.
If you enjoy this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.
The system that benefits men is the same one that's breaking them. Introducing How Patriarchy Harms Men, an e-course that unpacks how the same structures that grant men power also isolate them emotionally, distort relationships, and suppress authenticity. This e-course is for men ready to understand themselves beyond conditioning, and for women who want to better understand the men they love, work with, and raise. We're launching this e-course coming in March. Podcast listeners get $20 off with the code podcast. Patreon supporters, watch for your exclusive bigger discount before launch. So we've been being asked about our views on what's happening right now in the United States, specifically what has happened in Minneapolis, and we're going to talk about it today. It's heavy to talk about. It has been all over the news, obviously, all over social media feeds. So if this is just going to add to the burden by listening, feel free to skip this episode. But we are going to talk about it because it needs to be talked about. And I feel like the more that we talk about it, the more that we can process it on a greater collective level. We're probably not going to say everything right. I think that is a fear of mine when discussing this stuff, is like saying something that comes across a certain way that is not in line with what I truly believe, or can be interpreted in a way that is not how I believe. So I get very nervous about that, but if that's the worst that can happen to me, I mean, I'm better off than most people. So I'm going to try my best. We're going to try our best to articulate our feelings about what's happening and just open up conversation about it.
Well said. Let's do it.
So recently, TikTok has made some changes, and the algorithm was like super screwed up for a while. I don't know if you noticed that on your TikTok, but I was seeing like old videos recycled. During that time, I was kicked to an algorithm that was not my normal algorithm. It was a very conservative, very right-wing algorithm. And something that stood out to me was my naivety about the situation at large, because I think this whole time I've been thinking that if you voted for Trump, that you didn't really know that this is the way things were going to look. This is the way things were going to be enforced. And you might argue immediately, well, he said this, like they should have known. I'm not going to reveal the source of this person, but I had a conversation on election day with somebody who voted for Trump that is very close to me, and I was explaining the reasons why I didn't vote for Trump, and they literally were like, well, why do you think he's going to do those things? And I said, because he said he was. And their response was, well, we don't really know what he's going to do. He says stuff all the time.
Oh.
Like, they have flooded the zone so much with, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this, that like they literally were like, well, you know, if he really actually does that, I don't think he's really going to do that. Based off conversations that I've had where Trump supporters have kind of said things similar to that. Well, we don't really know if he's going to do that, or, you know, he says stuff all the time. That I had this belief that the average person who voted for him is not going to support what's happening right now.
Yeah, same.
I was so wrong, because when I was on that side of TikTok, it's angry people that are like, you are thwarting half of America's will with this. Like the protesters are making it difficult for what we voted to happen. And I'm like, you really do like support it.
You really want this to play out like this.
You really do want it to play out like this. And I think it kind of was eye-opening to me, you know, because and it made me feel really stupid. Like, oh, I think I gave like the benefit of the doubt way beyond where the benefit of the doubt should have been given, maybe.
Yeah. I have seen the same thing, but not on TikTok. I was seeing old videos circulating, even just a couple weeks back. But my algorithm didn't go like to the right, but on Facebook, it definitely is. And so on Facebook, I'm in these comment sections, and it's the rhetoric you're talking about. Like, they are happy at the, pulling children away from the parent. Well, they should have come here the right way. I mean, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. You should have just stopped resisting and show your papers, and then you have nothing to be worried about. And it's like, do you not see the authoritarianism here? I thought this was supposed to be the conservative party of less government, and you guys are all acting authoritarian here, and you're cheering for this. Yeah, it seems very much the theme I'm noticing is, because you did something that was illegal, any consequence is justified. Separating you from your children, justified because you came here illegally. Oh, you resist ICE and you're being detained and you get shot? Well, you shouldn't have done that. It's like they're saying any magnitude of punishment fits any crime. You come here illegally, you can get shot. You can get detained. It's like, okay, that doesn't make... You're giving the death penalty for something like that?
Do you think that goes back to Christian roots?
I need to sit with that for a second.
Because
hell is no matter what?
No matter what. I mean, even if you have one bad thought, you get maximum punishment.
I definitely think the evangelical branch and the conservative branch of the church, which is... I mean, I have to look up statistics, but it seems to me to be the most populated part of Christianity in the United States, and the loudest part, that absolutely that rhetoric has gone into this Christian nationalistic space on the right. And totally, it's like, yeah, well, you lied, you're getting the max, you're going to hell. And you rape someone, oh, you're going to hell. You kill someone, you're going to hell. Doesn't matter what crime you've committed, the punishment is the same.
Right. So because you sinned, right, you did the illegal thing.
Yes.
You came over here illegally.
Anything
then there's
to you.
no discrimination when it comes to the level of punishment
right.
that you should receive.
Not only that, if you somehow interfere with ICE or resist in any way, in these comments, I'm seeing it over and over again. That, well, don't resist. You don't have to worry about getting... They shouldn't have resisted. They got shot. Shouldn't have resisted. So you're telling me that resisting ICE, who is not a police force and not the military, first of all, and technically ICE is supposed to be targeting those who are here illegally, and more broadly, like I did a deep dive on ICE. It took over for some other agency after 2003 and was moved to the Department of Homeland Security. And there are two main branches. The biggest branch is supposed to be investigating things like child trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, weapons trafficking. And the smaller part is to investigate and deport those who are here illegally that are committing violent crimes. And then that's the history. That's ICE until the second Trump administration. And now the first part that is supposed to be investigating all these trafficking things is now the smaller part. And the bigger part is the enforcement and deportation, but it's not just for criminal or violent criminal offenses. And it's just if you're suspected because the color of your skin that you are an immigrant, not even just an immigrant here illegally, then they can detain you. It violates constitutional rights. You have a right to
due process.
Due process, whether or not you're a citizen. The Constitution, the amendment says, like, if you're on American soil, not if you're an American citizen.
Right.
So all this is non-constitutional.
When anybody's rights are lost, it is bad for the whole.
For everybody. It's just a matter of time before it happens to you.
Less rights is never a good thing.
Right. Never.
And that goes for women as well, women's rights.
I mean, I feel like these ICE agents are acting much like the toxic masculinity wing of manhood, because it's all this toughness, it's lack of lack of emotional intelligence, and it's just brute forcing and manhandling people and oppressing and abusing and murdering people. You know, there's no room for understanding or emotional intelligence or any type of being able to empathize, sympathize with the people who are on the other side of this. And it's really just a blatant example of when masculinity goes wrong. You know?
Yeah, it's very patriarchal in the fact of, yes, the brute force, the comply or die kind of.
Yeah, comply or die.
I struggle understanding the two sides because there's so many logical fallacies in all these arguments. The whataboutisms.
It's insane.
It's like you can't even have a conversation about it because like, it's like apples and oranges. Like, of course, nobody wants violent criminals on the street. Mm-hmm. Like, nobody wants that. But that doesn't equal what we're seeing. Like, that doesn't... Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like, just because I don't like what I'm seeing doesn't mean that I'm pro violent criminals on the street.
Yeah. I think why there's so many logical fallacies is because those who are vehemently on the right that are okay with this, that these means totally justify. The end totally justifies these means, right? They're not operating out of a place of rationality and logic, logos. They're operating out of emotion. Specifically, they're acting out of this anger that Trump tapped into. So we're not going to be able to have rationality. The only way we can begin to understand is to know that they're acting out of emotion and anger, not out of anything that's logical. They're so angry. What are they angry about? I don't know. I don't understand that, but they're so discontented and angry. Trump tapped into that, gave them a home, and now they're fighting for their home. They're fighting for what they perceive will somehow make their lives and their surroundings and their country better, and it's going to eliminate whatever is causing this anger, which is obviously a secondary emotion. It's masking something. You know what I'm saying? Though, like, Trump tapped into this anger, and that's how they're acting. That's what they're acting out of. They're not acting out of rationale or decency. They're acting more out of irrational and negative parts of human nature. And so, of course, there's logical fallacies because logic is not the basis of their actions. It is emotion. Ironically, they're acting the way that they stereotype a female president would act. Oh, you want a woman who's emotional to have her hand on the button for the nuclear codes? Okay, well, one, our female leaders do not act like that at all. I don't know where you're getting this caricature, but you are actually the ones who are acting out of emotion right now. It's just you. And then people on the other side have emotion who are protesting, but that's not the basis of their action. It's more like ethos. It's the ethics of what's going on. It's a sense of morality and justice.
Definitely feels like there's two different languages being spoken.
Yes. You have logos, pathos, and ethos. Ethos is about the ethics and morality of something. Logos is about the logic or rationale behind something. And pathos is the emotion behind something. These ICE agents and those who are vehemently supporting them on the right are acting out of pathos, acting out of an emotional seat, versus those on the left are acting more out of an ethos, ethical, moral seat. You see something that's unjust, that needs to be done away with, needs to be eliminated, needs to be changed, and that's the basis for your action, not just this anger that Trump has tapped into. It's my opinion.
Yeah. You know, with this language that's been used around these shootings that are just absolutely tragic. Renee Good, Alex Pretti, the countless people who we don't even know about, most likely.
And don't know what's happened to them.
And the abuses that are happening that we don't know about.
Oh, gosh. ICE is probably doing a lot of trafficking.
Just unimaginable. But I've noticed the language around it is very rape languagey, right? It's very victim blaming.
Yes.
You shouldn't have been there. What did he expect was going to happen? What did she expect was going to happen? She shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been there. What was he wearing? What was on his body?
Were you resisting?
Were you resisting?
Oh, it's your fault?
What did you think was going to happen?
It's the victim's fault.
Yes. And then they released footage of Alex Pretti being upset like 11 days earlier, where he like kicked the ICE vehicle and was.
He should totally get shot for that.
Right.
Gosh.
As if it's like, well, look at this previous behavior.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
You know, which is similar to what we do to people who are victims of sexual assault. Is like, well, it's illegal now to bring that into court, but it used to not be illegal.
Were you promiscuous?
To show previous behavior, right? And it's like, I was not surprised when they used this language surrounding Renee Good because she's a woman.
Yeah.
I was surprised when they were using this language around Alex Pretti because he is a white man. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm not absolutely certain on this, but he appears to be a cis white man who's heterosexual to my knowledge. He has an ex-wife.
He's 37, so he's in the 2040 window, which all the studies are done in medicine.
Yeah, like he is who the patriarchy loves.
He's me.
Yes.
Same age.
Yeah. And it just shows that in-group is getting a lot smaller, which is just more proof that we are leaning even more and more authoritarianism. Because when that in-group becomes smaller and smaller, and that power becomes more and more concentrated, that is a sign of us shifting in that direction. And I think it should make alarm bells go off. I mean, I think regardless, anybody getting brutalized by authorities
should not happen in my country.
Should never happen.
No.
But on a pattern recognition level, now we're seeing this happening to a privileged group.
Yeah.
White people, Renee Good, Alex Pretti. And then you have a white male, middle, 37 years old, gun carrying male on top of that.
They're adding another qualifier. It's no longer a white male or young white male. It is young white male conservative.
Yes.
They've added another qualifier for the in-group.
Yes.
That is to be favored, at least by the party that's in power currently.
Yeah. I don't know really where I'm going with that. It just is an observation that I'm like, this language sounds very familiar to me. Mm-hmm. And the whataboutisms are just rampant.
The fallacies are. I'm getting rambunctious in Facebook comments, and I'm expecting some likes. Instead, I'm getting laughy faces, and I'm getting people that are responding and like kicking me and stuff. And it's like, whoa! I did not. I thought there was more logic and more human decency and rationality in this comment section.
Yeah, which is funny because they look at us and think that we're being irrational, illogical, and it's nuts. It's like it's very crazy.
I'm not the one using exclamation points in my comments. I'm not the one who's bringing in like mocking in the comments. So like who really is the one who's acting out of emotion versus out of rationality? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not the irrational one here. You're the one who's bringing emotion and exaggerated emotion into this comment discussion.
Yeah.
Like what? I can't, we don't even have the same type of reason. We can't even talk. There's no dialogue possible because, again, Trump has tapped into this anger and given these angry people a sense of belonging somewhere. And you're acting out of to protect this belonging you found or to combat the things that have made you angry, even if those things aren't really the source of your anger and discontentment. I will say, though, that liberals really have needed a rebranding. What being progressive or liberal really was like these notions of free speech and civil rights, just the notion of it, democracy. These were all progressive ideas of their time. And the idea of more rights for everyone and more democracy and more decentralization being what is best for the whole, that's a liberal idea. Mm-hmm. And instead of focusing on like the culture war stuff, and I'm not saying that these, I need to be careful with how I'm communicating that. I think it's important to make visible the need for rights or protection of rights for those who are in minority groups. But I think that it got kind of maybe out of control where Democrats were focusing on that at the expense of focusing on other progressive things that are needed to be in the forefront. And I think that pushed people on the right a certain way. And I think that they missed out because they didn't keep those types of progressive ideals in the forefront. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they also didn't keep protecting us from corporations in the forefront. They have not done that. They haven't kept things in the forefront about protecting us from the money that gets involved in politics. Like those are more progressive ideas. And I don't hear about them on the left very much. I hear them from Bernie Sanders and AOC and the people that are characterized on the right as being like far left crazy people. But really a lot of the things are progressive ideas that have been around for centuries, following the same trend of centuries, since like Renaissance philosophers and stuff like John Locke as an example. There's just, where has that gone? And I feel like that's something that those on the right could get behind, because you want to protect free speech, you want less government involvement and less policing, and you want the right to bear arms and all these sort of things. Those are all very progressive ideals that arose over the course of several centuries.
Yeah.
Where's that talk gone? Well, it's just, I could just keep going and going. Get Citizens United out of here. Get money out of politics. Lobbying out of it. I would probably be full-blown Democrat or full-blown liberal if I trusted my government. But because I don't trust my government, I don't know how I feel about more government involvement. But if I trusted my government, I would want more of those things. But I think the government is so corrupt because of money and power everywhere. So what's a person to do when you want more protections from corporations, from big money and big industries, big insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies and food companies and everything? But I don't trust the government to regulate them or to not be in the pocket of these big industries. So then what am I supposed to do? I don't know.
Yeah, you feel real helpless, don't you?
Yeah.
And then you just have all this anger.
Yeah, I am very angry. But you know what? Doesn't mean that I lost my rationality. Really, Congress, there's all this voting on this budget. Democrats and just need to get a few Republicans in the House and a few in the Senate to like freeze funding for ICE until there are drastic reforms, drastic changes, because you control the money. You don't have a majority in either the House or the Senate, but you're just a few votes short in each. You need to stop the funding.
Get it done. I heard somebody say the other day on social media that a sign of that you are living in a fascist government is if you think to yourself of all the reasons why you're safe.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've thought that, I live in a small town. I don't live in a big city.
Or I live in a blue state.
I live in a blue state. I'm white.
Yeah.
I'm male. I'm straight. Obviously, they didn't help Alex.
You know, that is an interesting. I'm curious to know, like on a psychological level, seeing that happen to a white man and seeing the way that the government is handling it and like not like transparently investigating it. You know, does that like impact you at all? Like your sense of safety and protection because you're a male, cis male, heterosexual, white person?
Seeing someone who's literally my exact same age, who's a white, cis male, straight male, and to see the government's reaction to it, it does hit a different chord. And I think it made me realize, like I alluded to earlier, that there is another qualifier, and it's conservative. Not that I haven't had feelings of fearfulness But I think that was almost more for like people I know and for like you and my children, and less for me personally.
And our black and brown friends.
Yeah. Like, so for people, yeah, that's what I mean when I say like people I know.
Yeah.
I don't think I felt it for me personally very much, but I do more now.
Yeah, I just
especially
feel
having
like
a
that
public platform like this.
Yeah, that has to be like a new sensation.
Yeah, it is. You know, it kind of reminds me of the beginning of our pink pill stuff with the Man v. Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, oh, I've never, thought of this, or, oh, I've never understood why that feeling comes up for women, or, things of that nature. And I think that it's a similar feeling to that. It's, I think it allows me to empathize more deeply. And I don't want to get, I don't know. I don't want to get tore up by people and somehow thinking that I have not had empathy or not had my eyes open to the plight of others. But it does hit a little differently and a little bit more deeply when you see your representation in it. Because I've always seen representation for me being a white, cis, straight male everywhere since I was a kid. Every president, except Obama. Obviously, that was different, person of color. But now to see representation on the oppressed side, it hits a little differently, a little more deeply, a little more piercing, a little sharper.
Yeah, and I could see you doing what he did, because what he did is a woman got pushed.
Right, and he was trying to help her.
And he was like leaning over, trying to help her. Now, are you okay? Asked her if she was okay.
Right.
And was like trying to help her up. And that's when he got tackled.
Yeah.
And like, I could see you being in a position like that. Like you would do that out of your concern for others. And, also the whole narrative that he was on his way to a protest or he was at a protest is just not true. He was just at a place where something was happening. Like he wasn't attending a protest. There wasn't even a protest really happening there.
They just knew that he had before, right?
Supposedly they had a record on him or something like that from a previous, right. I don't know, what's true, what's not true.
Who knows,
do you know what I'm saying? I just know the multiple angles of the video that I saw that day. I know what I saw.
Yeah.
And what I saw was an execution happen.
Yes.
In public by government officials.
Mm-hmm. And then the government not owning a thing about it.
Basically, yes. If there would have been no videos, evidence, period, it would have been completely covered up.
And they're really latching onto the part that he had a firearm.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, you are the party of the Second Amendment right. But you're going to use him using his Second Amendment right as an excuse for his execution. So really, he was executed for, if they're saying it's because he had a weapon on him, that he's executed for exercising his Second Amendment right. Riddle me that.
Yeah, well, then they would argue, well, it's time and place. And
never said that before.
You shouldn't have had you shouldn't have extra magazines on you. Oh, it
doesn't matter.
Have been loaded.
Doesn't matter.
No, it's legal. It's legal.
Yeah.
Like, do you get it? It's legal.
Yeah,
this is what you guys have fought for.
He has the right to do this. Yeah, this is what you've been so worried that the people on the left are trying to take away this right. Well, this guy's exercising it and you shot him.
Yeah.
You freaking shot him. And your excuse is, technically their excuse is, well, he was exercising his Second Amendment right, so we felt justified.
Yeah, I thought it'd take him a while longer to come after Second Amendment. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I thought that was going to take a little longer.
Because your base
yeah.
is very, very in favor of it. I think the Second Amendment is a good thing. I think there are problems with how it is exercised, or they're not exercised. There are problems with You know, when they wrote the Second Amendment, there was no such a thing as an automatic weapon. Didn't exist. Right. So, like, there are things that are nuanced because they didn't exist at the time it was written. But I think the right to bear arms is a good right to have, and it was specifically for resisting a tyrannical government. That's why it's there.
Right. So, I mean...
Literally. I mean, no one's going to debate that. That's why it's there.
It probably was an appropriate time to carry.
Yeah.
Considering what's happening in Minneapolis.
Yeah. And the guy wasn't even, like, up on his feet, and he wasn't even reaching for it. How did you feel threatened for your life where you could use that type of force?
That type of force where you're unloading a clip into somebody.
Yeah. How many times?
I think it was 10.
I mean, it was it was at least half a dozen.
Yeah.
It's different if, like, yeah, sure. Same scenario. Let's say the guy's reaching for his weapon. Or has it in his hand. I mean, that's totally different. But, like, this is just total BS.
Well, yeah. And again, there is appropriate force even in that situation.
Yeah. Where's the training? Oh, that's right. You don't get training really for ice.
You got to train longer to cut hair.
Yeah.
I think the average training for an ice, what is it, 7 weeks or something like that?
Let me see. It was 6.
Okay. The frontline officers who do arrests and removals attend a compressed academy of about 8 weeks of in-person instruction. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was a recent change. I guess before that, it was like supposed to be like 3 to 4 months, but there's been recent changes that have compressed the program.
You know, regardless, there is a distinct difference in accountability for police officers and ICE agents. When the president verbally says you have immunity,
no,
versus police officers who can be relieved of duty, police officers who can be tried. I mean, even if these people were prosecuted and sentenced, president has the power to pardon.
Yeah, the problem is there's no accountability. Not the problem. A problem is there's no accountability.
Zero. You know, it's scary things are happening. You got to be able to talk about it, and we needed to talk about it.
Yeah.
And maybe we thought us talking about it would somehow be insightful for those of you who want to listen to it.
Well, yeah, insightful and
feel not alone in it. And I'm sorry, I totally cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, just insightful in the fact of, like, not that we are saying anything new whatsoever, but so that you know that we're not burying our heads in the sand and what do they call that? Ostriching? Mm-hmm. Ostriching? It's so heavy and things are happening so quickly that I just find myself walking around with a pit in my stomach and not having words to say. And I've wanted to make a public statement, wanted to make something like very officially stated, but I've just been at a loss for words. So thank you for having this conversation with me, and thank you for doing it on this platform, and thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening. I hope for those of you listening, something was intriguing or sparked a curiosity, or you felt affirmed or challenged. Stay educated. Take the pink pill. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.